You're checking out Pyro Radio. It's Monday evening with me, Jay Fresh, right here for Jay Fresh and Friends. You know we always play brand new music from the spectrum of hip-hop and grime, and of course, we connect with artists as well and get them in on the show. I've got an artist with me right now who has released some dope music, and we've got a lot to talk about. I've got BADDA on the phone line. What's happening, bro?
How you doing, Fresh, man? What's good?
Yeah, I'm really good, man. I mean, you know what? I love doing interviews, but I love doing them in person. So with it just being like a voice-to-voice thing, like, it's challenging right now. But describe where you are right now, man. What's your settings as we conduct this phone interview?
I'm chilling in my front room right now.
Nice. Sound nice and chilled, man. It's good to hear. So, yeah, we've got a lot to get into, man. I mean, first and foremost, BADDA, the voice of the people. I've been doing my research. I've been looking into some of your influences, and some of your influences out there are influences that I kind of share with you musically. We're talking about Biggie. We're talking about legendary Busta Rhymes. What other artists were kind of around there for you and were really influential to you kind of musically at the start of your journey?
Yeah, see, even like New York rappers. So like Jada, Cliff, D Block, Styles P. That was definitely a whole era we went through, the D Block era. And then at the same time, like Luda as well. Love a bit of Luda. Always banged a bit of Luda in my life, but then crossed the water now to Jamaica. That's where my family's from. That's where my parents are from. So all my family. So then those influences was like Bounty Killer and Beanie Man and Ninja Man and then Cartel and Nevada and so it's kind of like a mixed influence. And then obviously with my own UK sound, it's like a mixing pot filled up with all those kind of influences, really.
Wicked, man. It's good to get a flavour. And the fact that you mentioned Ludacris, I was only talking about Luda the other day. I was going through some old records, the vinyl that I've got still in my yard. And I was thinking, he never really pops up too often in people's conversations. But I thought the guy had bangers. Bangers.
Yeah, exactly. And like you would, with Ludacris, you would go to say underrated. But no, he had a good shine and he had a good few bangers out there. It's just, like you said, he doesn't pop up in that conversation of like rappers that did something that lasted. But no, Luda's one of my favourites. Secretly, he's just one of my favourites.
Yeah, wicked, man.
Like J. Cole as well. The newer days, J. Cole, Kendrick. Yeah, definitely like me some J. Cole and Kendrick.
Yeah, man, definitely. Now we need to move into some of the tracks and some of the messages you've been putting out recently. I mean, I feel like we're in a moment this year where it's a year unlike any other. We know so much craziness has happened, but me personally, along with all the music that I've been getting and all the music I've been supporting, I personally have been craving music with real substance. You know, I feel like I've needed that personally this year, in terms of my journey to get through everything that we're kind of dealing with. And you've been someone who delivers music with a real message. And if we talk about your latest track, One Voice, I mean, that's just packed full of emotion, feeling messages right there. Explain the concept around the track to us, please, bro.
Yeah, see, like, and just as you were saying there, like, to add on to that, a lot of people feel in the same way, that want something with substance. So I think that's why my stuff hit so hard now, because everyone was at a different state of consciousness where it wasn't just about the drip and stuff. So a lot of people share your feelings on that. And obviously my awakening, that was off the back of my George Floyd freestyle. That was like obviously a lot of pain and emotion in that, summing up the time that we was in. And then that kind of led on to One Voice, because One Voice was like, while I was traveling up and down the country doing shows, interviews, everyone was like, what's next? After the marching and protesting, what's next?
The next step,
So I was like, yeah, what is the next step? But I've been making so many links, I thought, all right, let's try and put these visually together and kind of announce what's next. So unity is what's next. So yeah, the song was all about unity. It's like stage 2 after awakening, basically.
And you touched there on the visual side of it, and obviously the visuals are live and they're out there right now. And just flicking through I say like a montage, but flicking through the video and seeing these really poignant moments that you've put together, obviously to accompany the track. Was that quite moving? The visual side of putting, like we've got like the Diversity TV performance on there, we've got Grenfell, we've got a lot of issues there. How did you find the process of that coming together?
Yeah, well, actually, that was actually a strange process because we had an idea what we was going with. It was looking powerful, but then we needed some more things just to kind of tie it in together. And those clips, what you mentioned there, along with others, they kind of really knitted together the message we was trying to get across visually. Because on the song itself, you can hear what I'm saying. The bars kind of say it all. But visually, we needed that little extra kind of, and I think, yeah, we achieved it with that.
I mean, music is such a powerful tool. And to me, I feel like you're an artist who is kind of fully enabling that in terms of, what you're saying and how you're saying it. And there's an interesting line towards the end of that track where it says, or you say, it's time to start having those uncomfortable conversations. Yeah, that's right. And that's why that's one of the beautiful things about all of the protests and everything that's uprooted. It's open the conversation. You can't go nowhere without talking about it first. So even just the conversation being sparked is a step in the right direction. And that is basically the point of my music, to open up this dialogue and let's start to see if we can move to somewhere where it's a better place for everyone. And talking about how tracks are kind of consumed and received, we spoke at the start there about how, music with substance is craved by a lot of people in this current time. And with music, timing is sometimes important. You yourself, in your own words, said it was summing up the mood that's shared by a lot of people right now. So in terms of the reception to the track, is it what you were expecting? Is it brand new? Is it just a continuation of the positive messages coming back to you? How have you found your reception to One Voice as a project overall right now?
Yeah, do you know what? The reception's been really good, really positive. Everybody kind of like we were saying, it kind of sums up the mood and everybody's like getting behind it. There's a lot of support. So yeah, as well as opinion-wise, yeah, it's doing really good.
Good. It's really good to hear, man. And of course, a conversation that's come up a lot with people when we discuss these matters are all about kind of what happens next. The terms raising awareness and everything like this, and having those conversations is a great step, but it's not the end goal, as it were. And I'd like you to talk to me a little bit more about the Taking the Initiative Party, because that's relatively new kind of to me, and I'm thinking some people listening here at Pyro would want to know more about the next step and what else can be done, man.
Yeah, see, now that's Taking the Initiative Party. That is a political party, like an inclusive political party. So it's for the working class. It's a voice for the working class, what we feel like we haven't really got in Parliament and the parties that we see out there now. So Taking the Initiative is, they took the initiative to basically try and include the average guy and have somebody representing the average guy who lives where the average guy lived and knows a bit more, instead of getting like MPs from outside the borough who's never lived in like Lewisham, but they're going to be the MP of these areas. So it was more a case of representation of ourselves. Now, I saw what they were doing. They saw what I was doing. We had a lot of areas where they kind of married up. So we sat down, had a conversation and decided, I'm going to use my tool, you use yours, and I'm sure there's a way we can do business. And yeah, we've come together with this One Voice project to try and get our similar message across. So yeah, I see them as a very important tool in this unity, because, we've got the ground fight, we've got the fight with education, we've got the fight with police brutality, we've got the fight with politics. So we can't leave out that political fight. We need that, because that's making decisions around the ends and allocating money and funds for the same educational stuff what we're branching off into anyway. So, yeah, I see TTIP as a very important tool for us moving forward as people.
Definitely, man. It sounds like it's a real moment. And how can people How can people kind of get involved and follow what's happening regarding that movement? How can people stay up to date?
Yeah, well, they got their website, so you can go on the website, the Taking the Initiative website, and check out their manifesto. See, they normally upload quite a lot of informative videos, things that's going on current time. So their website's got loads of information, and they've got as everyone else, they've got the socials, Instagram, and all of that. So yeah, you just need to click in the Initiative Party and take that to your browser, and you will see them. They'll pop up, and yeah, there's lots of stuff. Like I said, lots of information to read on them.
Sick. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of value out there, which is dope, man. When we talk about, if we bring it back towards you and kind of your music and what you're working on at the moment and projects you're a part of, I saw something online about a Sky Arts project. I've been hearing things about BBC documentaries as well. So, I mean, creatively and in terms of having platform for your voice and what you're doing, this sounds like this is a really exciting time, and there's a lot of really positive opportunities coming up for you right now.
It is. There's a lot of things happening right now. There is. So, like you mentioned there, yeah, Sky reached out to me. They're doing a new spoken word show. So they wanted to know if I could adjust the rapping for spoken word. So we sat down, came to an agreement, and yeah, that's been filmed. That's ready to go. So look out for that. Sky Arts. It's called Life and Rhymes. That's on, it's starting in November. So from the 1st of November, that's getting aired. So I'll be on one of those episodes. And then, yeah, there's a couple film crews filming me as well, following me around. And, yeah, it's getting a bit crazy now. I've got a couple single deals on the table. The single just dropped the other day. I'm working on a new project now. I've got an EP that I'm about to drop in the next few weeks. Don't want to say any dates yet, but yeah, that's got some special tracks on there. That's almost BADDA's What's Next after One Voice. My EP is What's Next. So yeah, I've got that coming. There's new visuals coming as well. Plus, I've started a company called the BADDA Trust, where I'm reaching for funding for education. So we've got like a 3-stage process where we're running workshops, music, media arts, and then we're applying for space inside colleges, with the third step end up us building our own university. So there's a lot of things going on education-wise. Yeah, we're on that path down there, and we're doing fundraisers. I'm a trustee on a charity as well, the Fear Free Trust. So they're in conjunction with it. So I'm more like this solo entity that's working with a lot of people to try and get the job done. That's basically what's happening.
Wow. Well, I mean, you answered a few of my other questions I had lined up for you there, but the hustle is mad. I mean, the fact that
it's mad right now.
You've said you're developing the kind of the documentary and the spoken word, and then you're investing and backing up resources that are kind of given back to the community and educating the next generation of people with, you know, universities and higher education institutes. And on top of that, there's the creative outlet of the music as well. And you touched there about an EP. So I asked this to a lot of artists this year that I link up with, because everyone's journey has been different. But how have you, with this upcoming EP, how have you found the process of creating music? Have you been in a good headspace? And in terms of actually recording, looking at visuals, because the world is not normal now. So there's a lot of weird pressure there. How have you found things around the new EP, and what can we expect?
Yeah, see, around the EP, I've kind of had, we've been like on a snowball of the vibe, just building and building. So I'm kind of in a space, I'm in writer's space right now. Like, so although all this other stuff is going on, it's actually my best writing space. So while I'm in that frame of mind, I'm just writing and writing and writing. So I know everybody's waiting to hear some more things after One Voice and that. So we decided, you know what, we're going to put out an EP and kind of capulate this moment, but also the next step as well, because I often get looked on as just an activist rapper or just a concert. They like to try and box you off depending on what they've just heard. So this EP is kind of to show a little bit more diversity, but at the same time capturing this moment that we're in now. So yeah, I'm in writer's mode. So it's all going off now, Fresh. It's all going off.
Wicked. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear more, because when when One Voice landed in my inbox and I hit play, you know what it's like out there, bro. There's so much music. There's so many messages. You know, I hit play on everything I get sent. And straight away I was like, okay. I was like, well, this is a nice sounding track sonically anyway. And then when I started absorbing what you were saying, I was like, well, this really works. And like I said, it sums up a time. But I'm really glad you're doing the EP as well, because another conversation I have is every musician has their game. Some people just want to do singles. Some people just want to do large bodies of work every couple of years. And that's them. But I think it's dope that you obviously got a good grasp about, with the EP, you can show different musical sides to who you are. Because you're right, we're in a world where if someone just hears One Voice, they'll think you're in that particular lane, and they might think you're not capable of doing that, or you can't spray those bars over bashment rhythms on radio. We know you can.
It goes in the music business, yeah. And I've been in it long enough to know, I know what to do. So yeah, this next EP is going to be, and the visuals, I've got a visual to a track on there that is being developed now, and yeah, that's going to be something special. So I'm going to give you the heads up and the exclusive on that.
No, we look forward to it, man. And I'll always ask, because I've got my radio presenter hat on today, I'll always ask about roughly when we can expect this project. Even though you told me you can't tell me. This year, you said, roughly?
Put it this way, Fresh. Before the end of the year, it's going to be a 2020 project. Yeah, put it that way. It's not going to go into next year, because next year I'm working on the album. Yeah, so you've got to get the EP this year.
I think this is a good point to anyone listening in who's a musician as well, or an artist, or is maybe at the start of their journey as an artist, who perhaps hasn't fully grasped the idea of kind of planning when you release your music. We're already talking about your recent single, which has been out a short while. You're talking about the EP that you're working on that is going to be dropped sometime before the end of this year, and there's only 2 and a bit months left. And you're talking about the album already that you're working on towards. So for you, how kind of far and ahead do you work strategy-wise in terms of releasing music and when you're going to place it? How do you operate like that? Because I think people listening in would love to hear that from you.
So obviously I've been in this music game for a long time now. It's just only now people are kind of paying attention to it, or now it's kind of caught their ear. So like, I've learned from years ago, like, if you're not looking at least 6 months ahead, then you're not ahead of the game, because this music game moves so quickly as well. So you kind of need to have project 2 lined up, or at least an idea of a direction of where you're going to go with it. Now, don't get me wrong, things can happen in the meantime, and one song can take things a completely different direction and maybe change your mapping for project 2. But you should always have that kind of plan in a process. So I normally think 6 months ahead where the music's concerned, because I know what I can churn out, and I know like time frames and how long things last and what you need to come with. So, and it's been a while as well, Fresh. They haven't heard nothing from me for a while, so I've got a few things stacked up. So
yes,
I'm kind of ready to go. Yeah. I'm cheating a bit. I've got a few things stacked up.
But it's good when you're in that space, because like you said, you're sat there on the tracks, on the records going, right, well, these are going to be for the EP. This might be a single. You know what? This one is dope, but I might just hold this one back for the album. And you're there sat on it going, I can't wait to put this out there. Like you must be really energized and excited by the fact you've sat on this music and ready just to share that and share your message with the world, man.
You know what? I've got a studio session in 4 hours. So I'm going to lay down something today. So yeah, it's in that exciting recording mode. And when you're in that mode, the best thing to do is just keep rolling with it, because more material comes because of the energy you're wrapped around. So I normally try and utilize that energy as much as possible, because I've had my writer's block days, and I've had them days where you don't feel like writing. So when you do, you just go for it.
Yeah, fully jumping. Well, listen, brother, it's been great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for joining us on Pyro today. Before you bounce, can you please introduce your brand new track, and we'll play it right here, right now.
Right, this next one coming up is BADDA featuring Cookie, One Voice.